Good morning, everyone. My name's Purvi K, and I'm the head of cyber for AFCAS in BA Systems. Within BA Systems, I'm also the chair for the Women in Cyber program. And when Marcus asked me to speak again at this event in March, if you're going to ask me to speak in March, it's going to be about women in cybersecurity because of International Women's Day. So I wanted to bring out some of the challenges that some of the women are facing within our community. But I also wanted to celebrate some of the fantastic women we have within the cyber community and talk about what it is we together can do to make more of that happen. So let's get stuck in. Just to set the scene and just to highlight some facts about the digital landscape. We are living in a world where technology is evolving fast, and we all know that. But with that rapid digital expansion comes increased cyber threat. Again, that's a fact. And what that means is we need stronger cybersecurity teams. We also know that that strong cybersecurity team needs to be diverse to be effective. But unfortunately, the cyber workforce is still imbalanced. And specifically within the gender diversity, the gap persists. So this is not about fairness. This is about doing right security. And it says there, diversity is not a metric, it is a necessity. Now, women have been proving this, and they have been making strides for many, many years. So let's celebrate some of the women who've done exactly that. And let me start with Rosemary Harper. Rosemary joined a company that was eventually acquired by BAE Systems, and she joined as a trainee within the personal department of that company. She eventually worked her way up and became the first female director of BAE Systems. I can only imagine the challenges and the barriers that she had to go through to get to this position at that time. Now, in today's world, in cyber, we have women taking positions like threat analysts, ethical hackers, security managers, CISOs. Some of you are sitting here right now. So I wanted to celebrate some of the women that are in my world and have been doing fantastic things for cyber. Let me start off with Anne Kiss-Butler, who is the director for GCHQ, the first female director within the intelligence community after the head of MI5 some years back. Then we have Felicity Oswald. She is the Chief Operating Officer for National Cybersecurity Centre. And we have Mary Haig, who is the Global CISO for BAE Systems, my ex-boss. We also have Christine Maxwell, who is the CISO for SSE, and she was a CISO for MOD a year back. We have our very own Sarah Armstrong-Smith. I haven't just put you there because you're here. She may not know it, but she's truly inspirational and influential in my world. And we have Bala Powell, who is the Director for Cyber in Cabinet Office. Now, these are all trailblazing women who are innovating, leading, and using their unique perspectives to drive change. But they all have their own individual stories of how they've come to these positions, and I'm sure met some many challenges along the way. But we have to amplify these these stories. We have to shout about them so that we can help others get into similar roles as they have and overcome those challenges. Now, we all can have a role to play in this. And let me start with our male allies. Some of the pictures I'm going to use here are from the event we recently did, hosted by BAE Systems, which is a Women in Cyber event in Manchester. And I intentionally asked for an all-male panel in a Women in Cyber event. It's very controversial, but it was the most effective panel of the day. Thank you. To see my male colleagues there, and they all work in BAE Systems except for one, to see them in a panel and let them have free reign on what they want to talk about from male allyship point of view. They planned it all, but to see them sitting there, looking vulnerable, looking uncomfortable, and saying, "We simply don't know what to do. We need your help." It was marvelous to watch. It was really good to see the questions that were asked and the responses that were coming back. And we came up with some really tangible actions of how we can increase male allyship within BA systems. So what can you do? Mentorship and sponsorship is one of our key work streams. We all know the value of mentorship. And to my male colleagues here, your insights, your experience, your perspectives are often undervalued. I urge you right now to approach a female cyber professional and offer your mentorship to them. You could be catapulting somebody's career right now, today. I urge you to advocate for equal opportunities. Stand up for us, even when we're not in the room. Challenge biases. Take responsibility to understand what those challenges are that we face, because often you're not aware of them, and that's fine. But if you come forward and ask the right questions, you will learn, you will be made more aware, and then you will know how to help. Speak up and be the voice of change. For the female colleagues here, if you're in need for mentorship, I encourage you to speak to a male colleague here and secure them as a male mentor during the break. That'll be fun to watch. Hopefully you're successful. So what about the organizations? We often talk about organizations should implement more inclusive recruitment. But what does that actually mean for the organizations? They need to understand, all the way from the job description, how inclusive does the job description appear to be? What are the T's and C's within the job description that have been advertised? How inclusive is that? All the way to post-recruitment, how inclusive is the working environment? We often see women in male-dominated teams, for example, the Security Operating Center, where they're excluded from socials, they're excluded from the chat groups. Sometimes they're overlooked for promotion, and this has happened because they're of a certain age and they might have a baby. So, organizations, why not prioritize their competence, their skill set, their talent, instead of the gender elements? There should be an intentional culture change within organizations. And I've said this before, culture change is a very vague word, right? But I've said this many times. The culture change needs to come from the top. We need the seniors in the organization to champion inclusiveness within the organization. There needs to be an acknowledgement that these are all just not good ideas. They're absolutely necessary for the success of the organization and for growing a strong workforce. But the reality is, it's hard, right? We women still continue facing these challenges. But what I would say for them is, we also need a mindset change, don't we? We need to think differently about our own careers. We need to overcome our self-limiting beliefs that are most of the time due to societal pressures. We need to get into the driving seat of our own careers and self-advocate. You are your biggest champion. And together we can and we must implement some strategies. For example, building your community. Please do not underestimate the power of this community that sits here. The wealth of knowledge, the experience that is right now in this room is so valuable. Invest in your continuous learning and development. In this fast-changing world, you don't need to be an expert in everything, but be in the know, be one step ahead. And know what you want, but be confident about it. Make sure that you are driving your career car. Let your mentors, let your sponsors guide you and suggest direction, but you do the driving. And be bold. If you've ever come across a job that says to you, you know what, this is going to be a great job for me, but perhaps I can't do all these things that are listed on it, apply now. What's the worst that can happen? Rejection? Well, change that narrative then. Rejection equals feedback. Be bold and ask, what could I do better for next time? How can I improve? When you're in interviews, be bold and ask, what are your flexible working arrangements? How do you invest in the personal and professional development of your employees? Remember, the interview is a two-way thing. They're checking whether you're fit for the organization, but you're also checking whether the organization is fit for you. So be bold. Your potential to add value to an organization is limitless. And similarly, the potential of the organization to value you as an employee should be limitless. So now it's your turn. We've conversed a lot about this, but it's time to commit. So I invite you to take this call to action very seriously and help secure the future generation of the digital world. So what 3 things are you all going to commit to doing today to help yourself or other women in cybersecurity to progress within their careers? Because we can all accelerate action and make a difference for the next generation that is coming along. So I leave you this one question. Are you all ready to join this movement today? Thank you, and you've been listening to Purvi K.